Okay, so here's the thing. I feel like a lot of African kids or other kids of the diaspora may get to this juncture too of, okay, they're independent financially at the very least.
Yeah.
They're no longer like dependent on their parents for their well-being, yet they never do that work or begin that journey of self-discovery.
Yeah.
What do you think is different there? Where you'll find people who are accomplished, who are doctors, who are pharmacists, who have money, who give their parents money, yet they remain closeted, even if they're not queer. They remain closeted in the way they dress, in the way in who they're friends with.
Yeah.
As people of diasporic origin, living authentically means delving deep into our cultural legacy burdens. At Rich Queer Aunties, we go beyond financial success, embracing rich insights, truth, and authenticity. Join me, Christabel, a nurse leader, writer, and African auntie, as I share insights and practical resources such as self-care strategies, mindfulness practices, and deep cultural analysis. Drawing from my experiences overcoming a controlling religious and traditional African background to embracing life as an openly gay woman, I've gathered knowledge to help you live fully and authentically. Each episode aims to help you uncover your subconscious narratives, prioritize your mental health, and nurture a meaningful community that truly reflects who you are. We'll explore how merging our heritage of collectivism with individualism can lead to a peaceful state of interdependence. Consider this podcast your sanctuary to redefine success, discover joy in the everyday, and reshape the narratives that have defined you. Stay connected and deepen your journey by joining our community on Instagram or engage with our discussions on Substack. Let's explore what it means to live authentically together. This week, I have a special guest. I rarely have guests on the podcast, but I thought it would be really important to bring Kachi onto the podcast. Kachi is my partner, and I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kachi. I am Igbo, American, Nigerian. I'm an artist, a recovering engineer. I'm a dog mom, a partner, a lover, and I'm really excited to be here. So, yeah.
Okay, wonderful. As many of you know, the theme of the podcast is stepping boldly into our full selves, living authentically. And my approach to doing that work has mostly been an intellectual one. I read books. I seek out other people's experiences via stories. I went to therapy, was in therapy for 8 years. So I'm a big head first kind of person, whereas Kachi is very much, I think, opposite of that in many ways. They're very body centered. And so I wanted to bring her onto the podcast to just talk about her journey, her healing journey, and what that has looked like, and why your body. Why does the body matter?
So the body to me matters because I'm very engrossed in my senses. I like to perceive the world in the ways that it influences me or it makes me feel. So that to me just felt more intuitive to start with me as a person, how I interact with the world, how I present myself in this space, how I move through the world, how the world has shaped me. And I would say like my journey really started to build and move fully around late 2019. This was around the time I had been let go from my former job as a tech educator. And I started to realize that my identity was really more than what people wanted from me, that I was multidimensional, multi-talented, and I wanted to explore that. This was also really me stepping into being out as a queer person in America in all the social spaces that I've been in, especially spaces that have made me feel like I was alone or excluded or isolated.
Mm-hmm.
Being of African descent, being part of a religious Catholic group and community really forced me to conform a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I really felt stuck. And I felt small and insignificant and unimportant. So around 2019, when I started to look at myself and realize that I am more than just a techie, I'm more than just a woman or just in this body, who I was started to come into question deeply around that era.
A lot of people who listen to this podcast are of diasporic origins, be it first gen, immigrants, global South, African or not.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that we, in our communities, talk about how things feel in our body, how disembodied we are. So I guess my curiosity with you has always been like, how did you even know that's where to go? Because growing up in an African household means that we're supposed to be the techies, we're supposed to be the doctors, the engineers,
the scientists, the lawyers.
Exactly. So you found yourself 2019 feeling that you were more than what you did.
So before I started exploring engineering and going into the sciences as a kid, I knew who I was.
Okay.
And I think that I spent 15, 20 years just trying to conform a lot of myself and just morph into things. I was not like other girls. I was not like my sisters, for instance. I knew that I was different.
Okay.
I knew that I did not want to wear the pretty dresses and the very uncomfortable shoes to go to church. I wanted to wear shorts and be topless and run around with the boys and climb trees and play harsh sports and play with my hands. I didn't really like to do a lot of baby doll and dress ups and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in those ways I felt, slightly isolated, but also like I honored my interests very deeply. And I just found that over time was shunned and or cautioned or disciplined out of it to become more feminine, more approachable to men, more ladylike. And I rebelled against it heavily all through my teenage years. And then when I started thinking about how to live in this life without constantly feeling judged and constantly feeling like I'm not good enough to be as I am, I think that's when I started to do a lot of the shaping.
Okay.
In college, I joined like a Christian organization. I did all the things. I followed my dad and went to his alma mater. I wanted to fit in so badly. But at the same time, when I would see other people who were very expressive, artists and creative people in like creative disciplines, I would find myself being a little envious of them, knowing that I myself, I am just like them. Like I see myself reflected.
But you weren't living that
I wasn't living that truth because I was really scared.
Yeah.
I was scared of being isolated.
So that's like, what was the biggest fear? Your fear of being isolated from your family?
Yeah, from my family, from other Africans. I think that because I grew up in Nigeria, I found safety around other Africans. And I think that in knowing that what safety looked like was to deny parts of myself in order to conform was really the reason why I did all the things that I did.
Yeah. And I can see that because if the pinnacle of Nigerian societal celebration is like, say, going to a wedding, right? And you don't want to wear gele. You don't want to wear head tie.
Yeah.
You don't want to wear like skirt
I want to wear like a suit.
A blouse.
Yeah.
And and you want to wear a suit.
Yeah.
And knowing that when you show up
traditional
in that
men's attire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you know that when you show up in that space looking like that, you will be stared at, and that could lead to being isolated.
Yeah.
And so you conform.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was afraid of just all the things my dad, for instance, would tell me. Like, what would people think if they see you like this?
Yeah.
What would they think about our family? You should be very aware of that. So me being hypervigilant to the things that really didn't make sense to me, but because I wanted to still be included in the collective, in the group, I stepped away and just repress those parts of myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've talked about this before. That's my gripe with collectivism, right?
Yeah.
It's made us this whole panacea, the thing that will save us from hyper-individualism. But not enough people talk about the fact that many of us who are not male, older, and able-bodied and straight have to conform and repress and hide so much of ourselves in order to be a part of that collective. We have to present a very specific way in order to be accepted.
Yeah. It's a very survival tactic because just from the history of Igbo people and how they've had to survive a genocide, a civil war, and leave their homeland and wanting to be good, like really, really good, so that they will never have to face that kind of violence or hate. It takes being something that is just exceptional, like that you'd have to sacrifice a lot of your desires and your expression because that could give you all, you know, that could be a sign that you are different.
Yeah.
And these are the things that when I started to reclaim my identity and really dig deep, I realized that that burden needed to be carried in a different way, in that I'm not living in that time. There's a lot that I've learned from my parents and how they have survived. And in their time and the tactics of repressing and all of the things to be a good model African, Nigerian, you know, immigrant is to be exceptional. And
so speaking of that, how did you then begin the work of reclaiming your identity?
Yeah. One of the things was essentially like rebelling against all the things that I was told was feminine, that I told was a look, like looking a certain way.
So it started from
it started from
for you.
For me.
Okay.
It started with, you know, growing my facial hair was a deep choice that I made for myself because I wanted to express my queerness, my gender queerness, my masculine and feminine self and parts. And when I would look at myself in the mirror, a lot of the times I would recognize who I was at the time, but I wouldn't really see like all the depths of me.
Yeah.
So in growing my facial hair, it was really a shock.
When did you start?
So this was 2019, late 2019.
You were done with college.
So I was done with college. I had gotten a job.
Okay.
I had worked for this tech job for 4.5 years. And in all that time, I was dressing professional, corporate. I had my blazers and my capri pants and like dress pants and dress shoes and my makeup, all the things, which I actually love. I love those things. But it was just the ways that I was consumed. I didn't necessarily consent to being seen in that way. I just presented myself that way in order to just fit.
Okay.
So around the time I got let go, I decided like, yeah, fuck it. I'm just going to be exactly who I want to be. And I don't have to go to work, so I don't have to present anything to anybody. This is just between me and me. And to first lock my hair and to let my facial hair grow were one of like the biggest choices that I made for my expression.
Got it.
Yeah.
Do you think that you would have been able to make these choices, number one, if you were still living at home? Because at this point, you're no longer living at home.
I wasn't living at home, no.
If you hadn't been let go of work, what do you think the possibility of you making those same choices would have been?
I know one for sure, living at home, I would not have been free enough to see myself evolve around people who wanted to see me a certain way. So that would have been very challenging. And it was challenging, actually. When I would go and visit my parents over the holidays, I would select the kinds of clothes that I want to wear around them.
Why were you still going home for the holidays?
It was just an obligation.
Okay.
I think it was just out of respect.
Yeah.
And not even respect, to be honest. I just didn't want to get talked about not coming home. I didn't want to lecture.
Got it.
So to avoid the repercussions of just doing what I want to do, I did what was required of me.
Yeah, I guess I asked that specifically because, yes, I'm familiar with the obligation that is put on us as African children, right? But I wonder what parts of us also, because, you could change the clothing you took home, but you had your hair locked and it was essentially free-formed. Yeah. You had facial hair come in.
I didn't. Not then.
Oh, not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
I was still working.
Yeah.
So not yet.
Okay. Because I was wondering, like, which parts of you, even though you would still do certain things to conform, but you were essentially introducing the new you to them in bite-sized pieces. Yeah. And I wonder if we know that we do that.
And to myself, too. I knew I was doing that. The biggest conflict I had with my parents was my hair, especially my mom. She hated that I had locks, like hated. She threatened to cut it off in the middle of the night when I was sleeping. Yeah. And she would just she would tell me that I look like a lesbian. Straight up.
And you weren't out yet.
And so I wasn't out. No, I wasn't out to them. I was out because I was living in California. Yeah. I was living with my partner then. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was living in Boston, but I was dating my partner who lived in California.
When she would say, you look like a lesbian, what do you say to that?
I wouldn't say anything.
Okay.
I wouldn't argue.
I wonder if a part of you was like, I feel seen.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Actually, she had asked me in high school if I was a lesbian. And I don't remember what I said to her, but I wasn't directly like, yes. I think I might have said no, I'm not, just to keep the illusion that we both felt safe in. Yeah. Because coming out in high school would have been very dangerous for me. Yeah. And not that I didn't come out. They knew I was a tomboy. They knew I was very boyish. They had already known about my affair in secondary school. Yeah. But they were just like, oh, it's just a phase. It's just a phase. You're not for real, are
we need to have a whole
ass conversation about that. Because I've been
boarding school in Nigeria, being in an all-girls school, being queer. I would love to have that conversation if you decide to come back on the podcast. Yeah. But okay.
So they just assumed everything of me was just a phase. It wasn't serious. At some point I will get married. And I will have their grandkids and all the things. Yeah. So I would, because I didn't dress high femme. Yeah. I still had like my own sort of swag in my dress sense. I wore a lot of button-up shirts. I let my hair lock. I didn't wear that much makeup, maybe a little foundation here. I'd wear dark shade lipstick. So parts of me were coming up and it made them uncomfortable. And they would just attack me and say, how will a man notice you if you are this bold looking or if you are not feminine enough and things like that. Got it. And I would ignore them, but subconsciously I was constantly like consumed that criticism. Yeah. And it forced me to go into a really deep depression and be in spaces that were just not safe for me and stayed with people that weren't safe for me for a really long time. Yeah. Up until I went to grad school after undergrad and I had to face myself deeply. So it took time for me to go through that.
What was the catalyst to you facing yourself deeply while you were in grad school?
The weather.
Okay.
The people around were not people that I was used to being around. It was a predominantly white institution. Yeah. I didn't feel seen. and my friends weren't there.
Mm-hmm.
I felt alone.
Yeah.
It was in a whole different state. I feel like I'm going to cry. But I felt that I was just alone.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that aloneness,
Yeah.
that depression
Mm-hmm.
got you to say,
Yeah.
what?
Something is not right here.
Something's
not right.
Yeah.
And I need out.
Yeah.
And I need it fast.
Yeah.
And before I had graduated, I got offered a job at a company that was going to potentially give me my way out.
Yeah.
So I went for that job.
It.
I did. Yeah.
And this job was based in California?
Their headquarters are in California, but the office I was going to be at was in Boston.
Okay, so you get this job that you went to grad school for, and you're also dealing with depressive state that is fueled by the questions of identity and expression. Did the job help?
It helped a little. Having finance, like money, really helped support me. I was able to get an apartment in a place that I liked. I made some friends along the way at that job. I took care of myself. You know, I would go out to restaurants and go on dates, solo dates with myself.
Yeah. Care of yourself was no longer relegated to your parents.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't have to check in. Yeah, I didn't have to check in with anyone.
Yeah.
I could go out to social clubs and things like that. But it was hard still. Yeah. I just had the comfort of myself for really the first time in like my whole youth, in my whole young adult era.
Okay, so here's the thing. I feel like a lot of African kids or other kids of the diaspora may get to this juncture too of, okay, they're independent financially at the very least. Yeah. They're no longer like dependent on their parents for their well-being, yet they never do that work or begin that journey of self-discovery. Yeah. What do you think is different there? Where you'll find people who are accomplished, who are doctors, who are pharmacists, who have money, who give their parents money, yet they remain closeted, even if they're not queer. They remain closeted in the way they dress, in the way in who they're friends with. Yeah. What do you think is the difference between once you get that financial independence, either trying to discover who the true you is or conforming even further?
I would say for me, what affected me was distancing myself from the people that would demand I continue to conform. Because I had this persona that people liked and I had to keep it up. Yeah. And in working towards keeping it up, I didn't keep up with me. Yeah. So that's the difference. I wouldn't say everyone should spend time alone. Yeah. It's a journey that is not for the faint of heart. Yeah. If you really want to understand your mind and listen to your own voice, there can be a lot of chaos inside, but it's very worth it. It's hard and you need people you can trust and that see you and can ground you and check in with you. Yeah. If you don't have people like that, it will be difficult because everyone is going to be buying you, like your time, your energy, your personality. Yeah. So keeping up with people in that way is the difference that I noticed for me that helped me really evolve who I am.
How do you even find those people?
I think you just have to. Well, for me, I listen to my intuition. Yeah. Sometimes those people exist in the internet, in social groups that feel safe, that let you just be and talk about yourself. Talking about myself on Facebook and writing and doing the things I loved. I think the folks that saw me started to gravitate towards me. Got it. Yeah, it just takes you learning to trust yourself again. Yeah. Learning to take a chance that you may not be liked by many people, but the few that do, they too have worked to like themselves. Yeah. And my hope at the time was that they would like all of me
Yeah.
and the parts of me that I don't know yet.
Yeah.
They will be there for that.
I love that.
So yeah.
I feel like sometimes we talk a lot about the disadvantages we face as queer people, but I think in some way that's also saves us, because I think a lot of people who are heterosexual and who stay conforming, they do that because they can't find the man to marry. They want the man to marry, and they have the kids, and they conform, like their natural desires closely align with the group expectations.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes that's why heterosexual people who, even though they are now financially independent and safety is no longer an issue, still stay meeting expectations that aren't theirs. Because, I mean, yeah, they like men, you know, if they're women, they like men and they want to have children or whatever, or they think they want to have children, and then they just stay there. But I think there's something about being queer that propels us to seek healing.
Yeah.
And it's my favorite thing about queer people.
Yeah.
Because we seek healing because it's life or death for us.
Yeah.
So it's not just a matter of like preference. It really is life or death.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that.
Yeah. So fast forward to you being laid off.
Yeah.
Getting to spend even more time with yourself. You're living in California now. How did your healing journey evolve at that point?
Yeah. After I was let go, the relationship I was in at the time with my ex-partner also dissolved. We realized that we had a lot of growing to do, I especially. And later that year, I decided to travel to Nigeria, but not with my family group. I proposed to my siblings that we do a sibling vacation in Lagos by ourselves, all of us, me and my 3 sisters. And we did it. We booked the ticket. I booked my ticket. They booked theirs. They still were working through feeling obligated to stay with my parents and, you know, travel with them. But I was able to inspire them to make this happen. And that year, I had already started growing my facial hair. My locks were thicker and longer. And my attire was more just fucking queer, fucking boyish, very like earth tones. And I wasn't wearing that much makeup. I was just in my essence. And when we got to Lagos, we found this Airbnb. I had never Airbnb in Lagos before. And we booked a place. We stayed there. And it was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
We're not people, me and my siblings don't need a lot to feel like at home. We can just do a staycation somewhere and it'll just be the best time because we're just talking and bonding and cooking and catching up. Because each and every one of us went to a very prestigious college and we were all doing, you know, they're all doctors or in the medical field. So they were doing their time. I was doing my time. We were all like growing and evolving. And this was like the first year that we finally said, hey girl, how's it going? Yeah. Let's catch up.
You got to know each other.
We deeply got to know each other.
Did you come out to them? Did they know you were queer?
So I came out in 2017. I came out to my immediate younger sister, Olivia, first. And then I came out to my parents. And then everybody knew. But then they all kind of knew. They've always known. They weren't surprised. So they were there for me. And yeah, that whole year we spent time traveling across Lagos, going to art museums, going to like really cute restaurants, going out and
that
shopping.
Sounds like a great
you know what
time.
I mean? Yeah. It was so...
You ditched your parents.
Essentially.
You were just
like, man, fuck y'all. Let's just go.
We're not doing all this. We're not even going to the village. Like, we're not going to the village first.
Yeah. We're going to have our time.
Yeah.
And then we'll see y'all at the village.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I didn't even tell any of my cousins I was in town, you know, like I didn't want anyone to feel we need to be there because we're in their country.
And that's the thing I keep talking about. That diversion if you grew up collectivistic, there arrives a time where you have to make the decision to discover yourself outside of the collective. Which parts of the culture do you still appreciate? Do you want for yourself? Which ones are yours? Which ones are not yours? Which ones do you repudiate? And which ones do you take in? And I think that is it happened for me when I came to the US at 21, where I was just like, okay, I need to do some excavation. I need to figure out which parts of my culture that I like and which ones I want to hold on to. Not out of obligation, but out of like genuine desire and admiration. Yeah. And so I love that you got to have that with your sisters. Yeah.
So we spent about a little over a week in Lagos. And then we booked a flight to the village. And we're getting out of the car. We drove, they opened the gate and everything. And I come out of the car and my sisters come out and my parents are like hugging them. And then they see me and I just get a side pat from my dad and kind of like a side pat, like just a very gentle hug from my mom. And I was just like, it's all good.
Yeah.
But the first one I hugged when I came out of the car was my uncle. Man, he gave me the biggest hug. He was just like, oh, you get one?
Yeah.
Wow. I was just like, what's up? What's good? We dapped up and everything. And those are the people that I keep close to me.
Yeah.
The people that are just like, they too see themselves in me and they're not scared.
Yeah.
Or they too see me and they're not scared or uncomfortable. They're just like, they lean into it. So that whole time I was in the village, I just felt like I wasn't addressed in a manner that triggered me. It felt like they respected their own peace. I respected my own peace.
Yeah.
I didn't get all the
yeah,
they respected themselves.
Yeah.
And I kept mine. And the people that know me that also live in the village compound, they came and they greeted me. Some people would bring me some food and some fruits. And I felt really special. I felt, oh my goodness, I feel loved.
You're dressing as you are.
Me.
You're looking
I'm
as
wearing
you are.
shorts. I'm wearing t-shirts. I didn't wear any makeup.
And nobody died.
Nobody died.
In fact,
at all.
Some people still fucked with you.
Absolutely.
Hard.
Yeah. And some people still would be curious.
Yeah.
Like this one, he's not a direct cousin, but he lives in the compound. And he asked me oh, this your dada hair. Do you like it? I was just like, yeah. He was like, how long have you grown it? He was like, maybe I'll grow mine too.
Exactly.
I
love to see that.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And I found communion with people who have been wanting someone to go against the grain. And in recognizing and seeing me, they too can just lean in small. They're like, what's up?
I love that.
So,
that's how I felt when I went home for the first time with my ex-wife, where I was just like and I had some tattoos and it's nerve-wracking initially, but I was just like, dude, I am grown. I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And whatever comes, I will face it. Because the solution for me is not going home ever.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes a lot of people in our communities feel like it's either one or the other. And I'm not saying that it's easy, right? I'm not saying that first time you go home with your partner who is not who they expect to see, or with tattoos or with hair, not what they expect to see, that everybody will be like, oh, we understand and we respect you. No, there are going to be people, definitely, like you said, gravitate towards those people who do accept you, those who are curious. But oftentimes the people we do love the most, our parents and our closest family members, will not accept us, will treat us still differently. And I think we have what it takes to face that. I really do believe that we have what it takes to face that and survive it.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing. That's really the essence of any work I do here on the podcast or elsewhere, to remind us that we can show up as ourselves.
Absolutely.
And the chips will fall where they may.
Absolutely.
And nobody will die, probably.
Yeah. I felt like it was the best time for me to have presented as my authentic self.
Yeah.
In the country of my father, my forefathers.
Yeah.
And I just be safe.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
It was important to me, and it was important for everyone to experience that too.
Yeah.
Because at times I think one of the burdens that I would be hearing is that it's because I'm in America that I'm like this.
Yeah.
It's America. America spoiled, or America has made you a so. And that's not true. My motherland has made me who I am. We were queer before we ever knew America. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was really significant, a significant time for me. I came with all my button shirts and my colorful prints and my dress pants and all the pictures that we took. I was just like right there.
Yeah.
Like I was right there with everyone.
Yeah.
And like when I look back on all the photos, I was just like, damn, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
I'm fucking proud of you.
Okay.
I fucking did that.
I love that. So after the trip, you come back to California.
Yeah. And I moved.
And
I moved.
You moved.
I moved to Oakland.
Yes. And you continued on the work.
Yeah.
What did that iteration of work look like? Now that you had some, what was the saying? You have some hair on your chest.
Yeah.
You know, you've practiced a little bit. You showed up in your fatherland as yourself, at least to the extent that you were able to at that time. How did that help you on the next phase of your journey?
It gave me a boost of confidence for sure. It helped me solidify my inner mind, my inner voice. I had wanted to return to work, but on my own terms. I started doing some freelance tech education work for a nonprofit in Oakland, which was really amazing. So around that time, working as a contractor gave me more freedom to be able to continue taking care of myself and my needs. I had my little dog. We would go on walks every morning.
We love these.
I know. We'd go on walks every morning.
Yeah.
I'd cook for myself every day.
Yeah.
I practiced just being in touch with my needs and my desires, and I started creating art.
Yeah.
Around that time, I started to explore microdosing as a form of connecting to myself that I was away from my ego self.
Yeah.
And it was such a beautiful experience. I did so much camping in the backyard, at the lake, at the beach, while working. I was like, ooh, I can live this. This was now early 2020, right?
Yeah.
So what was it, about like 4-6 months? And then COVID happened. And it was a lot. I actually got COVID right before a month before my birthday month. And I had to spend more time just reflecting and recovering. I started studying different herbs to help with respiratory health and heart health and blood health and gut health to incorporate as part of my healing.
And also you were dabbling into new arenas of spirituality.
I was.
Tell me about that.
I started looking into traditional Igbo spirituality. Ordinary. For those who don't know, Igbo spirituality is really involved in honoring nature. Honoring nature, being part of nature, meditating with nature, studying the astral bodies, studying plants, herbs, communing with them, connecting with the ancestors that have come before you. Not all the ancestors, but the ones that you had gravitated towards. For me in particular was my grandmother and my auntie, my late auntie. And trying to remember them constantly. I built a small altar for them. And every time I would cook or make a meal, I would bake a small portion to offer them. So it's an act of remembrance for me, at least how I embodied my Igbo spirituality is an act of remembrance. And in that time, because I had also been microdosing as well, I started to, again, notice my reflection because I would always come back to my appearance.
Yeah.
That was really like a cornerstone for how I moved through the world and how people saw me.
Yeah.
So every time I would look at myself, I would sometimes recognize or not recognize who I was yet because it was so new.
Yeah.
Growing my facial hair was literally transformative.
I mean, how could it not be? It's huge.
Because who I was before and who I am now, I didn't know. Although I knew, I just have never seen them. Yeah. So to constantly see them reflected and to constantly acknowledge, just like,
By them, who do you mean?
The parts of me. I noticed that my inner voice spoke in Igbo. And held more of a masculine, like vibrato, like a masculine voice.
And then you discovered your name for yourself?
I rediscovered, I started to question my name, what it meant. So my full name is Kachi. When I grew up, my parents and my grandmother who had named me told me that it was a question. They said it was who is greater than God? And the answer was no one. It held some meaning for a time. And then after a time, I didn't feel that I was quite connected to it, to the meaning. I felt that the narrative of God had been weaponized against me. It was something that was like, God is to be feared. God is to be respected. God is like your father figure. It's very much like that kind of image of God was not someone that I related to really personally. So in reclaiming the meaning of my name, I started to recognize that the Igbo language is very lucid. It's dual. It has dual and multiple meanings. So onye can be who as a question or who as you, who, this one, who is, right? And ka can mean greater than or create, or it can be create, or it can be an expression of, or it can be like a mark or cast, like casting or like etching, like ika or ka. And then chi is the creative life force, your creative energy, like that's within you. People call it, their chi or their God, that force that is connected to your intuition, to your gut, to your passion, like your So in rephrasing the meaning of my name, Onyekachi, really is a creative soul. Yeah. The one who is an expression of the creative energy. Yeah. So in doing that, it really helped me like really know what I know and not just regurgitate what someone had told me or the common meaning of the name. And every time I remind myself of my name, it's almost like it's an affirmation.
That's so embodied. That's so embodied. And like, I'm in awe of that. And that's why I wanted to talk to you. I'm sure this is going to be the first of many conversations because like many different things that are similar to what triggered you starting your healing journey happened for me, but I went a completely different route, right? And that's why these conversations are so important because there are so many different ways we can approach our healing. Absolutely. I went on psychologytoday.com to seek out a therapist. I didn't try to figure out what my native name meant in Igbo and how I can embody that. That was not my approach. I'm arriving at those places now, but that's not how I started off. Meanwhile, that's how you started off. Even though you're in therapy now, that's not how you started off. Absolutely. And I learned so much from you when it comes to that. How our journeys, and it's what keeps me from like recommending therapy for everybody because our paths are so different. Our journeys can be so different. and all of them still so valid.
Absolutely.
And I remember you would tell me about how during that period, in addition to like microdosing and making baths for yourself and herbs and cooking for yourself, you were discovering queer artists, you were reading queer literature.
Absolutely.
So yeah, tell me more about that.
Yeah, I really felt that Oakland is such a holy ground for people that do want to connect to their healing, to find their kind, their kin. In exploring herbalism and in doing ritual, I connected with so many amazing, beautiful souls. I found myself at the lake creating and selling different elixirs and tea and herbal concoctions. And I would meet so many different people that were like, oh my goodness, I needed this.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, thank you for doing the work. This is so necessary. To those people that I met in Oakland, I just want to say thank you so much for recognizing and affirming and also doing the healing work. I felt that I was, for one of the first times in my life, I wasn't alone, because that's some of the things that I feared, was that if I continued to explore what I love and be myself, I would be alone. I'm so happy that I get to see all the reflections of myself and all the kinds of artists in Oakland being and exploring their artistry so boldly, so uniquely. And I'm really inspired because we aren't alone.
Yeah.
There is a huge community of people who are going against the grain and living their truth and expressing. And it made me feel that I can continue to do this work, and there's so much work to be done.
Yeah. I love that Oakland gifted you that. I often have critique of queer community in Oakland, but it really is from a place of deep desire for our collective well-being. And despite the critique, it is undeniable that there is nothing like being held in the arms of queer Black people who are committed to collective liberation, despite shortcomings, despite youth and being still young in that process.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's why you are especially like inspiring to me, because yes, you appreciate and contribute to that creative healing community, and you don't get complacent when it comes to learning what you don't know yet. Because I think sometimes we can stop short. We feel like, okay, we're accepted. We're not othered anymore.
Yeah.
We're part of a thing that feels bigger than us. And then we can rest on our laurels. And I don't think that is always helpful for the community.
Yeah.
The continued commitment to liberatory work starts first and foremost with a continued commitment to our personal liberation.
I agree. Like I said before, what has really kept me grounded is knowing that I can still exist by myself. Not alone per se, but that I can be with self and not have to keep carrying on a persona of self or people's expectations of myself. In doing this work, a huge majority of it was spent alone.
Yeah.
Because I knew that I can get swept in to the collective and the community and what people want from me or how people want me to show up.
Because if we're not careful, we will recreate
absolutely
those things that we're trying to run away from.
Absolutely.
Those collective expectations.
Mm-hmm.
We lose our individuality
Mm-hmm.
in the midst of this is what we do.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we move. This is the language we use.
Mm.
This is exactly how we present.
Mm-hmm.
And if your individual needs differ from that,
Still, yeah.
it can feel very jarring to everyone else in the community.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, no, we don't do that. We don't vote.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be, whatever it may
Mm-hmm.
be, we don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I come from a very strong community of we don't do that.
Yeah.
And we're not trying to recreate that.
Absolutely. I had spent time during the recreation and it was more self-harm to me.
Yeah.
And I don't want to continue in that path, even though it's very normal.
Yeah.
Don't have to think as much. I think just being a part of something, you can just believe that you feel safe. But I know for myself, I have gotten comfortable feeling unsafe, and that is unsafe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like I said before, I do love and appreciate what Oakland continues to offer and has offered me since I moved in embodying my artistry. I think there are spaces haven't done that for me in a long time. So I recognize that the Oakland land is very
sacred.
I
feel it.
And yes, and the people who are here are sacred too.
Yeah.
And I'm also noticing that the world that we live in and the stressor that force us to constantly conform still exists.
Yeah.
And it's good to be aware of that and your existence in it so that you can be curious and challenge yourself through it and not just become part of that system.
Yeah. I do want to ask also about shame and guilt and grief. What is your relationship with those things? Those are some of the things you and I talk about often. As you continue on your journey or looking back on your journey thus far, how do you relate to shame, guilt, grief?
Well, I'll give a story of when I was born. I asked my mother the story of the time I was born. And she had told me around the time I was born, my grandfather was ill and she wanted him to see me before he passed away. But sadly, by the time she arrived to the village with me, he had already gone. So my formative years was spent around people grieving the death of my grandfather or just holding grief. So I've been around that energy from a younger, tender age, and I recognize it. And it's something that I continue to carry with me. Shame was something that I learned was a way people, at least the way my parents tried to implement or tried to enforce on me growing up, was that there are certain things that we don't do. And if you do those things, what would people think?
You're shameful.
Don't bring shame on our family.
Yeah.
Don't bring anything, abutani here. Don't bring shame. I even know it in Igbo. Don't bring shame onto this family.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it's you just being yourself.
I know. And meanwhile, they're probably not talking about me. They are probably recollecting the things that an elder has probably told them.
Yeah.
So they use shame as a way to weaponize you. Yeah, to just control you as a person. And I've grown up with that.
It's an obedience tool.
It is.
Yeah.
It's very normal. It's like it's at a point where it shouldn't be taken personal, but I took it very personal. Although I ignored it and I kind of brushed it off and didn't let it get to me as an adult, I started to do it to myself.
Yeah.
When I would see people who are openly queer or expressing themselves, the first thing that would come to my mind is like shock. Like, how dare they? And who gave them the audacity? Or I don't even like what they're wearing. Or some form of judgment, some sort of critique would just be a part of my narrative. Whereas deep down inside, I'm just like,
you wish that was you.
I wish.
Yeah.
And if I can't have it, they shouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I learned shame. I experienced guilt as a child because I had to.
Grief, you mean?
I experienced grief as a child, yes. I also experienced feeling guilty as a child because I really thought that I was a bad person.
Yeah.
For existing as I am. I would ask God to take away this desire for women. These are some of the things I would pray about.
Yeah.
Even though I would tell my mom, like, no, I'm not gay. Be like, yes, you are. So having to hold on to this big secret of who I am and lying to people was such a huge burden. Shaped my mind in a way that I couldn't see my own reality and couldn't stand up for myself. I couldn't stand up for people. I couldn't say what was unjust when people would talk about other gay people. I would sometimes even join. And it made me feel so bad.
Yeah.
But it was as if I was just like, this is the burden that I have to carry for being gay, queer, is that I have to feel these things.
Yeah.
And this is what I've been ascribed to for the rest of my life.
Yeah. That is a heavy thing to ever heal from. And kudos to you for doing the work, to be at a place where that is not a regular part of your narrative anymore, if at all. Really, I think a lot of people think they would never be able to get rid of that, like, especially because a lot of it is tied into religious. Shame is not the only tool they use. They weaponize God and salvation to get us to denounce our being.
Yeah.
And anyone who is listening to this, I can't say that it's an easy journey to undertake. And maybe, I don't think so, but maybe for some people, never embarking on that journey is the right decision for them. But I want to say that for those who do dare take the step to heal from religious guilt and shame and cultural bullshit, it is possible to do the work. It was possible for me. It was possible for you. And I know that there are many moments in our lives where we just did not see it as a possibility.
At all.
At all. Where they stopped, we continued with our own subjugation. They didn't need to do it for us no more.
Yeah.
Their voices in our heads did it for us. And sometimes those voices were also our own voices that we had adapted. And the journey doesn't have to look any particular way. It can come from spirituality first, body, microdosing, body, being more in your body, feeding yourself, herbalism, taking baths, being in tune with your instincts before you ever get into talk therapy. And it can go that way. It can go the other way. And it doesn't have to look like what it looked like for me, for you, for it to be valid.
Yeah.
And I just really wanted to get you on to talk about, because your journey is so...
And it's still going.
Exactly.
There is so much work that I've been doing in this current era.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you, how have you, now that you're in talk therapy, how has the work you've done in the past, how do you find that it supports you today? And how does it feel to discover that there's still so much to do?
Well, talk therapy has been really good for me. I tried to talk to a therapist like 2017, 2019. I'd used the apps, but I wasn't able to find someone that I felt could better reflect the stories I would share to them and would not give up on me. And recently, since my injury, I've had to confront the grief that I've been holding on to since I was a kid. all the ways that I've been harmed and I never stood up for myself or never had the courage to, all the ways that I had harmed myself and harmed the people that were trying to love me, all the ways I've been harmful to myself and been unkind and unloving to myself. All the resurfaced, all the suppressed memories from childhood that started coming up for me. I've been crying a lot. I have been listening to my inner voice and my child and reconnecting with them and soothing and reminding them that it's okay to be and that they're safe and that I'm here for them. So I'm in the phase where I want to build a deeply trusting relationship with my inner parts and know that we are all here to support each other, and grieving the past and how the past had happened to us have been a portal into that relationship rebuilding. There's so much that I'm yet to uncover. There's so many dreams that I'm yet to fulfill that are in my heart that I've started to explore in my adult years. And
share one of those.
As a child, I've always been good with my hands. I love to fix broken things or things that didn't work well. I had thought that my pathway would be as a mechanic, but now that I'm realizing is to become a healer. And in that, I've been exploring massage therapy. I started schooling a couple months ago, and I'm really excited about that.
Hands down the best massage I've ever had. From a professional or a novice. Hands down the best.
I'm trying.
Your hands are magical. You're not trying, you're doing. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I have been relearning my form of art and communication, which I didn't have language for in college, which was a big struggle for me. I feel like in this era, I can integrate better because of all the suppression and the denying of myself that I've been doing in my adult years. I separated myself. I only brought this part of myself here with my friends, and this part with my parents, and this part with this community, and this part. But right now I'm finding that it's a lot easier for me. It does come with its own challenges, but in my adult years, I've been learning to integrate myself better. With where I am right now, the past versions of self that I had denounced or neglected, I'm remembering to bring them into the present moment and remind everyone that we're safe and that we can create and we can learn our artistic language and continue to practice that. It's a long journey. I get very scared. Sometimes the criticisms and the doubts come in and they're like, hey, what you doing over there? And I learn to welcome it. I learn to just check in with myself and know that I'm still okay. These are the voices that are just part of my existence, and it's okay. I don't need to be afraid of my creative energy, and I can be more patient with myself, more kind and more tender. So yeah, that's one of the things, at least one of the many things I've been trying to do in my adult years as far as using my hands or exploring the healing potential of my hands.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there anything you wish I had asked you, but I didn't ask?
I can't think of anything right now.
Okay. Thank you for talking to me. Thank you for coming on the
welcome.
podcast. I really appreciate it. You may be my partner, but you are more than that to me.
Oh.
You're someone that I admire greatly. You are absolutely brilliant and so intelligent and so creative. and so simple too. It's not just about your excellence. I love how you just are and how you take care of our home, our dogs, how you take care of yourself, how you remind me to tap into my body, because that hasn't been my route to healing, and incorporating it now incorporating it in a way that is named feels easier to do because I have you by my side. Yeah, I really love and appreciate you and admire you. And I want to be like you when I grow up.
Oh, but I want to be like you when I grow up.
And then we just be like each other when we grow up, and ourselves. And it'll be just like so perfect.
So cool.
And I am proud of our dedication to community, to ourselves, but also our dedication to not recreating in community what we experienced in community. Knowing that people don't have to like everything about us. We don't have to like everything about everyone else, but we can be honest with each other. And that feels like a beautiful foundation for a future that is inclusive and accepting.
You inspire me too. I just want to say that since meeting you, I have had like more hope that I can continue my healing work and that I shouldn't be scared. You're a fearless individual. You're a fearless, embodied person.
Not fearless.
See, you say that, but you definitely are. One of the things that I recognized you is how you wear your pride on your skin.
Yeah.
You wear your identity. You are and come as your full self every single day. And that takes fearlessness and it takes practice and it takes discipline. You are one of the most disciplined person that I know. You laugh, but I'm very serious. I think that's why we met. Because do I have discipline? I don't know. But you, yes. So I learn so much from you every single day. Yeah, I respect you. Thank you for co-creating this life that we are continuing to build and being very supportive to me and my dreams and to your dreams too. You make sure that as everyone is taken care of, you two are taken care of as well. And I really respect that. And I notice it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You are just as embodied, if let me recognize it as I am. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you for your continued support for Rich Queer Aunties and everything I am looking to use this space to do. So many of us need to hear that we exist, that healing is possible for us, that we can thrive. We have this one life. Even if you believe in heaven or a reincarnation or whatever, this one iteration, this is all there is of it. And I think the greatest disservice that can happen is for us to go through it as what other people expect of us and not as ourselves and not as what we desire for ourselves. I think that is my biggest motivation for doing this work and sharing in the way that I do. I just want us to know that we're not alone. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you.
Let me know if you would like to have Kachi back.
Oh.
We can talk about so much. There's so much to talk about. We haven't even gotten into the sex and the things. So there's so much here. So talk soon.
Bye.
So if you enjoyed this podcast, please rate it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. The ratings matter so much. The reviews matter. And if you think you know at least one person who can benefit from this, please share it with them. It means the world to me. And until next time, take care of yourself.